Now, my haere mai, and welcome everybody, and thank you for coming along on this leap day, the extra day, which really, to be honest, is it really an extra day? But hopefully you've all had a good day. Tonight we are going to do Treasures in the Depths again. We did it back in 2022 with Megan Whitlock having taken the reins and showing us through the NZSG website, giving you an idea of what you can see when you're a member and you're logged in and when you're not logged in or a non-member. And so, there's quite a lot that you can't see when you're not logged in. And so you might not necessarily appreciate that it's there. So this is to give you an update on what we've been updating and playing around with. The communications focus group has been doing a lot of work on the website, and so it is now looking prettier, but also there's a lot more information on it to help you find things there. There's still some tweaks that are going to go on, but I think at the moment it won't be changing hugely. So we'll see what comes out of that. There's still a bit of work to be done. We thought we would show you where we are up to, because a lot of things have changed since we did this presentation back in September 2022. So I'm going to share my screen. I don't really want to look at that bit. What we want to do is look at these bits. So I've got two browsers open. One's got the unlogged in version of our website, and the other has the logged in version, so I can flip between the two and show you what you can see with the different ways. Now, the one thing that is not different wherever you've logged in or not is the front page of the website, and that's recently had a really big revamp. It used to be really, really long, and it wasn't necessarily pointing people in the right directions, so the communications group did a big overhaul of it, and thanks to Jan, our webmaster, for putting things where we needed them to be. So you'll start off with a screen looking like this. It says welcome. You've got buttons to take you to the library or the Kiwi collection, both of which you can access as a non-member. You can get into the library catalogue. You can also see the non-member array of resources for the Kiwi collection. And then if you scroll down, we've added quick links. Now, these are aimed at members, so it does help if you're already logged in when you start pressing the buttons on the quick links, but they were aimed at basically taking you to places that you might use quite frequently. Jan has also added in a note about how to search the website. We're always getting a lot of people saying, why don't we have a search button? It wasn't really possible with the website, so Google will provide a pretty good search if you ask it to. And in fact, if I click on the example Jan put on the website, you can see that there are a whole pile of DNA results, and they're all on the NZSG present on our website. So that's really handy to have there. And then the next thing we did was we updated these boxes, as we've called them, with the particular headings. Now, these are aimed at people who have not been to our website before and are interested in finding out more about the NZSG. So they cover sort of 6 key areas, and there's various links to things talking about the information that we collect, our library, our resources, our branches, interest groups, and all the other items we have. And then you're at the footer. And the footer also has a few quick links on the bottom of it. One of the things that we've updated here recently is the privacy policy. It went from being very, very short to very, very long, but it's much better than it used to be. It's important that we have these sorts of things. And if you're looking for something to do, we are still looking for a privacy officer. So no training will be provided, but if you don't know anything about it, we're quite happy for you to learn on the job. It's not a demanding role, but we do need to have a proper one. So that's pretty much it for the front page of the website. Now, if you've got any questions as we go along, I'm not monitoring the chat in any way, shape or form. So unmute yourself and yell out, because otherwise I'm not going to know that you want to ask me something. Now we're going to start looking at the menu. So these items across the top that will jiggle down when you run your mouse across them. We have rearranged a few little things recently. We've changed community to get involved, and we've been busy thinking about how we want these ordered. So there may still be some tweaks on this in the future, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. So if we start at the left-hand side at About, of course, this is all about the NZSG. And if you click on an item, you'll see that the menu that was under the About is repeated on the side. And of course, this one, because it's about us, talks about us. And we've added a few more pictures, heading pictures in there. Over here, really, you'll see our people, which is our board, our life members. So we have a page acknowledging their contributions to our society. And myself and Barbara, who's our archivist, and Jan have been doing a big job in the last couple of years trying to find photos of everybody who's a life member. So if you happen to know one of the people that we haven't got a photo for and you might be able to get us a photo, that would be really lovely, because it would be great just to have photos of all of them. Now, if I switch to my other screen, logged in, first of all, you're going to see the dashboard, but if you click on the logo here or the little house, it's going to take you back to the front page. And then you'll notice that when you click on the About, you have a few more items than you do here. The biggest one, of course, being Society Administration. So under there, we have strategic documents, like our strategic plan, our rules, code of ethics, policies and procedures manual, those sorts of documents. We have our financial updates. If you need any forms that are of an administrative side, so this is where branches and interest groups can pick up their annual returns. We've got some expenses to make. You'd like to recommend somebody for an award. This is where you can find the form to do that. We've recently moved the AGM information into here. It used to sit over in news and events, but it's much better positioned over here. And the last thing we have is if you're involved with a branch or an interest group, we have what we call the Big Gateway. So this is a whole pile of resources that are out there for our branches and interest groups to use to help them run their branch or interest group. So there's a lot in there. On terms of the other things that might be of interest to you, and you can get at this whether you're logged on or not, is about the website. So Jan's been putting, tips and hints in here about how to use the website, some of the things you need to know about it, pop-ups for the Kiwi collection, how to disable them so that you can get into the Kiwi collection and things like that. So if there's anything else you'd like to add, do get in touch with Jan, our webmaster. Now I'm going to flick back to the non-logged in version and look at membership. So of course, the big thing, if you're not a member, we'd like you to push on is the join button. But before you get to that, you might like to have a look at the benefits of membership, which is the spiel here, different types of membership, donations and renewal, membership renewals, and then donations and bequests. All very valuable to our organisation when people give us a donation or make a bequest. If you are already a member, and I'm going to flip back over to the other page here, you'll see that there are two more pages that are not there if you're logged out. So of course you're already a member, which means you can log in, and one of them is a welcome page for new members, just giving you an idea of what's in here. If you're new, if you need help finding your way around, pointing you towards the library, the collections, how to meet others, what we'll do to keep in touch with you, and how you might like to give back to the society. We also have Gen Guide 1, which is a huge document that has all sorts of useful information in there. And so if you've never read it, it's also a good place to go and look and see what the NZSG offers its members. The other one we have are members' discounts. Now, it's looking a bit thin on the ground at the moment, but from time to time we do get offered discounts for things. You'll see we send My Heritage emails out from time to time, but we have had others. So if we have something that's not an email out offer, we will stick it in the discounts page for you. I'm now going to move along to services, and let's go back to the other page so we can see what a non-member gets to see. And it really is a good overview of all the things we have. centered around more or less the FRC in Auckland. So tells you about how to get to the Family Research Centre, about the library, and you can access the catalogue from here just by clicking the button. You don't need to be logged in to get into it. You might have to wait a moment while it does, and so you can get into that. So we've had monthly presentations from Robin Williams on how to search the library catalogue. It's a good idea to have a look at those and see what you might find. We also have the library cat, who is very gorgeous, and she gets her minions from time to time to put together presentations. So these are like little slideshows. I click on, the arrow will take you through. So the most recent one is about Waitangi Day in early New Zealand history. We've got meat on the bones. That looks like an interesting one. We have to have a look through that one. About how to, add more information to your family history. Jubilee publications. So we hold a lot of anniversary type publications in the library, and I found them really interesting to look at for schools, for example. But there are ones for churches and all sorts of other things. We did maps, and of course overseas resources. I'm not going to scroll down the rest of the list because you can go and have a look for them yourself, but it's just to give you an idea of some of the things that we have in the library. We also have our page on NZSG courses. So we've got a few different ones going at the moment. We have this free, what we're calling a teaser session. So if you're already into family history and you've got someone asking you about it and they don't like your explanation, you can get them to come along to these free sessions at the beginning of the month. Gary Phillips, who runs our introductory course, he does these, and it's just to sort of tell people about what doing your family history is all about. And, they'll be really interesting if you know nothing. And then the next thing is the new one that Gary's launched is his Q&A/novices online support program, which is the clunky name. We need to think of a shorter one. But it's a monthly get-together of people who've just joined the NZSG, or if you've done the introductory course or you're just returning from it. It's just a sort of help session for you to get along and find out more about what the NZSG has to offer. And then finally, we have the Introduction to Family History courses. So Gary's running 4 of these this year, 2 at the FRC in Auckland and 2 online. So if any of those dates are looking useful to you and you'd like to go along, click on the button and get registered for them. There is, of course, a small course fee, which helps the NZSG. The digital archive is available for members, and it's just a way of preserving some of your digital heritage. So read through the policies and criteria. That is digital, and that is the main caveat for it. But if I go back to the logged in page, you'll see we have a few more things. And number one, of course, these is our research service. And this is a great perk if you're a member to find out something in the library, or you've come across something in the Kiwi collection that requires a lookup. You can just get into the NZSG research service. You can send them an email, or you can fill in the form. The forms are good because they kind of prompt you to the information you might need to provide to help them out. I was doing some random research trying to hook up a DNA match recently, and I found the family in the 1921 census, and I just wanted to see whether the sort of grandfather on one family was a child in this family that I had coming down, and they were going up. And so I just flicked off a lookup form to the research services, got the copy of the 1921 census the next day well, actually it proved that that wasn't the connection, but it was good that I had such great service. And they can also help you look up information, help you with your research if you've got questions. And don't forget that we have a huge international collection in the library as well. We've done a month-end presentation on that with Robin Williams, showing you how to get into the library catalogue and find things there. So do have a look at that. And the other service we have I'm going to just click down to this one first, is our Land Research Service. So this page is about to be revamped. Pam White, who is our Land Research Officer, is working on it. So it will look a bit different soon and have a bit more information. But if you're starting to look into the land records of your family, this is a good place to get started. And of course, the FRC, as well as the National Library here in Wellington and the Christchurch Genealogy Society, are all affiliate libraries to Family Search. And there are other ones around the country. You will need to look on the Family Search website for that. But these are a great way to get into all the things that are under the little lock and key in the Family Search catalogue. And in Wellington, we're about to relaunch the Family Search Help Desk. So that's starting next week. So if you're in Wellington and you want to find out more about using Family Search, pop in between 10 and 2. There'll be a volunteer on the desk there in the reading room out there to help you. And if you're in Auckland, well, if you're anywhere else, you know, you can always flick a question through to Research Services and they can look something up for you on Family Search. One of the key things to note about our research services, they're not there to do the research for you. They'll be really helpful with it, but they want you to sort of, it's that old fish analogy that if you teach a man to fish, he will, you know, feed himself for the rest of his life. And that's really what we'd like to be doing, teaching you how to do your research. We also have for members purchasing services for GRO certificates. Now these are for the full ones. They've brought in the cheapy ones, and we will review what we're going to offer in that service for those. And of course, if you need some help with Scottish certificates, we have a purchasing service for that. These have were very useful in the past, of course, because we had British bank accounts and we could pay the money on your behalf. But of course, with most people having credit cards or Visa debit cards these days, it's no, not as used, but it's out there if you'd like to use it. So those are the big aspects that are there that are different if you're a member, and are services you get by being a member. So if we flick back to the non-logged in and start looking at our collection. So this is all the information we've been collecting. And we did a month-end presentation on it. So Jan's very kindly put the little video. You can make it bigger. I will point that out. And then there's a list of all of our collections, including the Kiwi collection. Now, if you're a logged in member and you click on collections, you get the whole list, including down the bottom members' interests, which I'll get to in a minute. But this gives you more information. If we go into the pre-1856 marriages, it tells you about the collection and how to access it. Whereas when you're a member, if we click on the pre-1856 members, it asks me to log in. So we're not providing non-members any more information than this, although they can, as I've mentioned, get into the Kiwi collection to see that small tier of information that we've put out there for non-members. Now, if you are logged in, one of the other things we have is members' interests. And you can search members' interests, or you can manage your interests. Now, one of our board members, you know, hadn't come across it before, and she put some names in. So she added names into here, and within, I think, 36 hours, somebody had got in touch with her that was able to help her with her research, and she was so pleased. So get in there and put your information in there, because of course the more people that have their information in there, the better. Also, the thing about it is that it's only current members, so you know, it's not going to be putting you in touch with anybody who's not a current member, so that the information is very much up to date. So that's it on the collections. I'm going to flick back to the non-logged in page and talk DNA. Now, DNA is just huge. It's such a valuable resource. But if you're not a member, all you're going to see is this one little page, which has a bit of information. Now, ODIG, the online DNA interest group, who you can see if you're a logged in member, they're in the process of reviewing these pages. And so there are going to be changes to them. They're going to be updated for a start. But if you've not joined ODIG, you can join here. There's going to be an article in the magazine, which is coming out tomorrow, the March edition, about how to work ODIG, what you need to do once you've joined and you've had your confirmation, and how to access all the resources that they've been putting together. They're using a Google Classroom, and it has a huge array of resources in there. So if you're a member of ODIG and you haven't been to look at it, do have a look. And if you're interested in DNA, even if you're just a really, really beginner, or even if you're quite advanced, go in and have a join the group, and then go and look at the resources that they are putting together for you, because they are really great. And their meeting was last night, so you'll have to wait till the end of next month for their next meeting. We have a bit more information. Like I say, they're going to update it. We have these bootcamp videos. They are a little bit old now, but the basic concepts underlying them all are still fairly similar. We all know that websites change with monotonous regularity, and of course it's the same for all the DNA ones. So they are dated. I'm not going to be shy in saying that, but they do have some good concepts within some of them, and just will give you an overview. But like I say, the ODIG Classroom is really where the most up-to-date resources are. Now I'm going to flick back to the non-logged in and look at resources. Resources is one of the big areas where we actually have quite a lot available to non-members, because we have this huge section called Research Skills, where we have put a lot of information into getting started. So there's a whole page there to help you get started, talking about best practice, the getting it right resources, citing your sources, which all lead to pages, which of course that we've done. We have an overview of copyright, which copyright's really, really, really complicated. So this is very much an overview, some very basic concepts. But if you are in a situation where you need to be, be thinking about copyright, you may need to consult a lawyer if it's sort of that big. But there's some guidelines here about copyright and things. And of course, probably one of the most popular pages on this website are the forms and charts. So we have a family group sheet, and Jan, our webmaster, has done amazing things. These are all fillable PDFs, so you can type into them if you want. So there's a great collection there of various ones that you might find useful. Now, in terms of what's available to non-members, we have sort of, especially with the Kiwi resources, which is still a work in progress, and the overseas resources, we have put these overview pages to give you, a taste of what we might have. But of course, if you want to access them, you do need to be a member. So if we go back to being a member, and we get in, so we can see all these things here, and we can click on to Australia and have a look through and get some general information about how to research in Australia. The Kiwi Resources is coming soon. It's going to be basically a guide to researching in New Zealand, and it will be members only. We are still working on it, but very, very soon it will be there. And probably the best page to have to know that's here, and you don't need to be a member to get into this page, is our monthly presentations. So let's just flip back to the non-member side and see what we have in presentations. So pretty much you can access all of them. The writing page, there are, a general page on writing your family history and writing for the New Zealand Genealogists. So there's a little slideshow there giving you some tips and hints. And we've written another document on how to sort of format your submission. That might get a bit of a revise to add a few more things in there, but it's very useful if you're going to be submitting something to the genealogist. If you're a logged in member, you also get to see the videos from the online writing and publishing group. And we have a very short page on, oops, pressed a button, members' blogs. So if you have a blog that you're interested in sharing with the members to show people how you've used that as one technology to share your family tree, then flick me an email with the details of it. And I mean, Jane, she sent me her blog and I looked at it and went, oh, there's some things here that could go in the magazine. There's some really cool articles. And so, you know, you may find me heading you up for articles in the magazine if you do that. Now, getting involved. So this is the long list if you're a member, but let's start. If you're not a member, it's still quite a long list. We've put in some summary pages. You'll have noticed the NZSG Resources has ones as well, just sort of to know what you're looking at. If you're looking to find a branch or interest group, thinking. There's the map here, or you can get it to allow your location, and then it will hone in on where you are and point out that there are 4 branches in the Greater Wellington area. So that's really cool. And we have the events calendar, newsletters, and or if you're traveling and you want to know which branches in a particular area, you can look at a list by region, branch newsletters, list of branches that allow their newsletters to be on our website. So there's quite a long list there. And probably a really important part of the NZSG are our awards. So we have 3 literary awards, and then we have awards for members. So we have the Kevin McAnulty Award, which is for a family history book that's been given to our library. The Lucy Marshall and the Ted Gilbert Family History Awards are both for articles that are in the New Zealand Genealogist each year. And of course, then we have members awards. So the NZSG gives them at the AGM, but we also have branch awards that branches and interest groups can provide. And so there's a whole list here of what the criteria are if you're looking to give somebody an award. This is just a little section of our affiliations. So we're affiliated with the Family History Federation, which is England and Wales, the Australasian Federation of Family History Organisations, AFO, ARINS, which is of course about archives and records management. And we've recently got a new affiliation, which is to the Scottish Association of Family History Societies, Scottish Association of Family History Societies. So we'll be putting a link up to them pretty soon. They've got a burial index on their website that I'm waiting to find some time to have a dig into. And of course there's Facebook, and Jan's very kindly put some information up about using Facebook, but we have our Facebook page if you want to go and look at it. And since I'm in the right browser, we can pull it up. Oh, look, there's an event today. If you're not a member, what else have we got that's different? Well, the 2 things probably are the projects. So if you want to get involved and give back to the society, the various projects that we have going. And then, of course, there's MemList. So Wendy Howard is our amazing forum, what do we call, moderator. She looks after the MemList. So it's basically a Google list, and she is in charge of putting people on and off it. And it's a great way just to reach out and help people and find out information. Sometimes there's a lot of things about what's happening, and you can see there'll be posts on there about things of interest, things that might be of interest to you. Now going back to the shop only has one little tab when you're not a member, but once you're logged in, there's all sorts of things. And of course, under subscription products, we have the Kiwi collection, whether you want to subscribe for a month or a year. And then we have a few other things that are only available to members. You can get a name tag made. And if you're like me, it's always in the wrong handbag, but I do have one. And it's good because it's got my number on it, because I never remember what it is. But those sorts of things there. So let's move on to news and events. And probably the biggest one, and let's go back to the logged out side, is our events calendar. So this is how you can find out what's happening. So today, Jan was talking earlier about how she'd been to see Fintan and Gillian in Christchurch. Got the monthly presentation tonight, and then Fintan and Gillian are going to be in Wellington. And the teaser sessions I pointed out, well, the next one is on Friday, tomorrow. So, because it's the first Friday of the month. And so we have all of our branch meetings and things in here. So lots of things to go and have a look at. Like I say, if you're traveling, you might just want to have a quick look around, see if there's something interesting on when you're traveling. Family History Month, of course, we know about, and it will give you an enticing entrance into the Genealogist, which, like I say, the new issue is coming out tomorrow. And if you're logged in, of course, you can get into all the digital copies. So there'll be a new one here tomorrow, and you can go back and back and back and back and back before we had colour. Let's just use the mouse and pull down. So all these ones from back in the day, and they're actually quite interesting. There's still some good stuff in there. I mean, you're probably not going to want the articles on how to set your computer up for the dot matrix printer, but you know, the research articles are still very pertinent to today, and there might be your family in there. We do have an index for the magazine, and it is on the Kiwi collection, so you can have a look at it. And I think there's another one here, the Percy index as well, is another place you can look. We also have back copies of all of our newsletters. So if you missed an e-kit, or somebody says it was in the e-kit and you've accidentally on purpose deleted it, you can come here and have a look and click on a button, and it will bring you last week's e-kit. So it's all very cool, and there is a huge amount on there. And of course, the last one, which you don't get when you're not logged in, there's no one here, is the My NZSG one. So you have your dashboard, and I put a picture on because I could, because it's actually a nice picture of me that I like. And you can go in and update your membership profile. You know, if you need to update your details, if you've moved house, changed your email, want to change your password because you've been hacked or something, want to do anything like that, you can do it in here. And it will also have your subs and stuff and things in there. But you also have these quick links to forms and charts, branches and areas. Go to the library and go to the login. And of course, this is the screen you see when you log in first. But of course, these days you might just want to pop to the home page, scroll down a bit and go, all right, I'm into Discovery now, and click on the button that takes you through. And then I have to remember my membership number, which is fortunate I'm logged in here because I can go and look it up. But it is very much useful. So I think that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour through the website and the differences between what you can see and what you can't see. So I'm just going to stop sharing to see if there's any questions, and if there are any questions or things I need to show people because I went through it too fast, I'll put the screen back up. But if there's anything people would like to ask about, you can unmute yourself, turn your camera on and ask. No? Absolutely no questions. Was it that good? Thank you. So I just really would encourage you all to get in there and have a look. It will give you, there is so much in there and access to so many things in there that you might as well, get in there and see what's available, because it's a great collection. And I think, the more you use it, the more you realize what's there. And when we get the Kiwi Resources up and going, that is going to be an amazing database for members on how to research in New Zealand, where to find everything. But it's so huge. It was a 40-page document when I sent it on to the library to add their bits in. It's going to be quite epic. It's going to keep Jan busy for quite a while. So keep an eye out. We will be letting people know when that is available. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I don't yet know what the plan is for the rest of the monthly presentations. I'm waiting for people to be volunteered for it, but we'll put it in the e-kit, what's happening, and of course it will be on the events calendar with the link on the last Thursday of the month. So thank you all, and I hope you've enjoyed your leap day for this 4 years. And anybody that's had a birthday today, happy birthday. I hope you had a great day, and thank you all for coming.